Hi guys, tonight we are going to do the demo for cream of broccoli soup. So what we learned about soups is basically there are two different main categories of soups. You have your cream soups and you have your thin soups. Tonight we're going to do the demo for a cream soup. The great things about soups is that once you learn the basic method of preparation for each type of soup, it's pretty much consistent. You can change and put in any ingredients you want. Okay, it's limitless as to what kind of ingredients you put into your soup. For thin soups, of course, the ingredients are not pureed, and of course there is no thickener. For cream soups, the thickener is usually some type of roux, okay, plus the puree or the blending of the ingredients. And then it's finished off with cream, also to add richness and a little bit of body. So, a couple different ways that you guys can thicken, okay? Which is what we're going to do here. So with thickening for a cream soup, you can, of course, add your roux separate, okay, once you add your stock to your ingredients. Another method of preparation is to sweat your vegetables. Once your vegetables are nice and soft, you can what's called sanjay your flour over top, kind of creating a roux with the oil that is already in there, the fat that's already in there, and your vegetables. Or you can start off with a velouté, which is what we're starting off with here, is the velouté. And we're going to go over that in a minute. So with a pureed soup versus a cream soup, it's a little bit different. Pureed soup uses the pureeing of its ingredients, which a lot of times is legumes, to actually thicken the soup. Okay. So the cream soup, it is usually the cream and also the a roux that thickens it. Okay. So what we have here is the ingredients. In order. So this is what mise en place should look like when you guys start off for your video. We have the butter and oil. Okay, your recipe says just butter. I really like adding butter with a little bit of oil to saute and, sweat my vegetables. Remember, sweating your vegetables means we're not going to brown, which we're going to do today to keep a nice color for that cream soup. Your recipe also does not have garlic. I like garlic, so I am going to add a little bit of garlic. You can leave it out or you can add it if you'd like. We have our hard vegetables, okay, which in this recipe is the celery and onions. We're going to sweat those. And then this recipe, instead of adding the softer vegetables, which is the broccoli, after we add our liquid, we're going to go ahead and sweat those a little bit as well. And then we're going to add our velouté. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Turn this up just a little bit. All right. Especially when I'm sweating my vegetables, I still like to add a little bit of oil, okay? That keeps your butter from browning, all right? Okay, we don't want to add the garlic just yet. Remember, garlic burns easy. So we're going to start with our hard vegetables. With any kind of soup, you always start with your sweating your hard vegetables first, okay? We're going to do this for about maybe 2 or 3 minutes, okay? You want to start with your hard vegetables first, and then you follow that up by adding your softer vegetables. Sometimes you sweat your soft vegetables in with your hard vegetables after they've softened a bit. Sometimes you're going to add your soft vegetables after you add your liquid, okay? And remember the 3 different ways to thicken that, which right now we are starting with velouté. Now, as I'm getting these nice and soft and tender, I want to go over the velouté, which I have here and kept warm. Okay, remember your ratio of roux to stock. Okay, you want to stick to that 1:8 ratio. Okay, so for every every 8 ounces of liquid, you want your 1 ounce of roux. Okay, so right now we have a quart. All right, 32 ounces. Okay, so we want 4 ounces of roux. So I have 2 ounces of butter, 2 ounces of flour. I made my roux. I heated up my stock and then whisk that in, and this is our velouté right here. So basically, hopefully this is going to make our soup thick enough as we add everything together. All right. As you can see, I chopped up my broccoli very, very, very fine, okay, because I want to show you all that you can do this recipe without pureeing, okay. Technically, cream soups are pureed at the end, okay. But just to accommodate those who do not have anything to puree with in their house, we're going to go ahead and cut this broccoli nice and small. Okay, so it'll break down a lot easier. Okay. In the recipe, it says to do this and to sweat your vegetables when you add your broccoli for maybe about 10 minutes. Because I've cut it a lot smaller, we're going to cut that down just a little bit. Okay. When we get into soups and our Zoom lecture on soups, remember the two main categories. There are 7 categories of soups that we're going to go over. Okay, cream soups being one of them. The one thing I'm going to try to get a demo of, and we're definitely going to go over on the next Zoom session, is going to be consommes. Okay, consomme is one of the thin soups, and basically it is clarifying, or actually a very clarified stock. Okay, kind of a lengthy process, but it's really cool to try. Okay, to attempt at home. Comes out crystal clear. You cut your garnishes with your very fine-tuned knife cuts, such as your brunoise in the bottom of the bowl, and the consomme comes out crystal clear, so you can see all the way to the bottom of the bowl. And we will go over that in our next Zoom meeting. All right, so our broccoli getting nice and soft. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic at this point. Remember, you can use garlic or you cannot use garlic. I love garlic in my soup. We're gonna add the garlic just in the bottom, let that cook and get fragrant. Just for a couple minutes before we add our velouté. Okay, while that's simmering, the other thing that I'm going to show you guys is my broccoli pieces. So what I did while I was heating up my stock, is I cut off little baby pieces of broccoli, little small flowerets. When my stock was heating up, I shocked these in the stock, blanched these in my stock and then shocked them. Okay, just kind of hold that nice green color. What I'm hoping to do is use this for a garnish on top of my soup for my plated product. All right, you got to keep them nice and small, because if not, they're going to sink to the bottom. Okay, keep them nice and small, because there's a cream and a thick soup. They'll float on top for you. So all your garnishes for soup, when you garnish with a soup, it has to fit on a spoon, and it has to be a part of the soup. Okay, usually to kind of indicate to the customer or whoever's eating your soup what is actually in the soup and what kind of soup it is. So today, when you see my final presentation, I'm going to have little broccoli flowerets, and I'll probably add maybe a little bit of shredded cheddar cheese on that as well for a little bit of garnish. All right, so that broccoli is nice and soft. Turn that down a little bit, and we're going to add the velouté. Okay, if you did not have a velouté, okay, what will you do at the end of simmering your vegetables, or sweating your vegetables? You would actually sauté flour, sprinkle your flour over top of it, stir that until you make a roux with whatever fat is left in with your vegetables, and then you would actually add stock, cold stock, to your pot. All right, let's turn this down a little bit. All right, so at this point, once you add your velouté or your liquid, you want to simmer this down until your vegetables get nice and soft. You really want to make sure that all your vegetables are soft, especially if you are pureeing your product, which I am not going to do. If y'all have the means, please puree it. Okay, it comes out really rich and velvety and smooth. Okay, if you don't have the means to puree it, everything's chopped fine. You see it still comes out nice and creamy. Okay, texture that is. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let this simmer for a little bit. Okay, what I have here is I have cream that is hot, that is warmed. Okay, the one thing that is very, very, very important is that you can't add cold cream to a hot soup. What will happen if you add cream or milk to a hot soup? It will curdle. Okay, so to keep that from happening, we have warmed up our cream a little bit before we add it to our soup. The other thing that you can do is temper in your cream. You remember doing that? We actually have the cream in a bowl, pour a little bit of the hot soup while you're whisking into the cream to kind of heat that up, bring that up in the temperature before whisking that back in. All right, so the other thing with cream that you don't want to do is once you add the cream, just like the sauces we learned about, you cannot let it boil. Okay, very important. If you let it boil, your soup will break up on you. Okay, so you have to make sure your soup is to the point that everything is broken down and nice and soft. Okay, you're going to add your warm cream, and then you're going to make sure that it's very low so that it doesn't boil and break up on you. Okay, so just for time wise, I'm going to let this simmer. Okay, make sure these vegetables are nice and soft. I'm going to turn it way down. I'm going to add my hot cream to it. Okay, and then I'm going to season it with salt and pepper. Please don't forget to season. Okay, I will send you guys pictures along with the video of my final product garnished. Okay, as I said, with garnishes, you want to make sure that they are blanched, they're not raw. You want to make sure they're part of the soup, and you also want to make sure that they are an ingredient that indicates what kind of soup that you're making. All right, so we're going to let this simmer. I'm going to add my hot cream, and then you guys will see the finished product once it is plated up. So this is going to be the second video you guys are going to make. Once it's posted, we will go over soups on the next Zoom meeting, and then you can go ahead and execute this skill. All right, have a nice night, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.